My parents said I was no longer accepted to be part of the family. They thought they had one, but I had other plans. I made sure they come back begging. Let me tell you how everything unfolded. Before then, we share stories like this every day. If you love them, don't forget to subscribe. We are on a journey to our first 1,000 subscribers. If you are new here, kindly click on the subscribe button and join our growing community. Kindly leave a comment telling us where you are watching from. We'd love to stay connected. Now let's get into the details of the story. I sat on the cracked kitchen stool, absently stirring my lukewarm coffee. The morning sun filtered through the faded curtains, casting long shadows over the cluttered table. I glanced at the empty chair across from me, the one Dad used to sit in before cancer took him years ago. Ever since, I'd stepped up, late shifts, covering bills, shelving every dream I had just to keep this house running. Then came my mother's voice, sharp and flat. Dana's coming back with her kids. You need to find somewhere else to live. No hesitation. No apology. Just a command. I felt my heart clench, but I didn't let it show. I just nodded. Quiet. Calm. I've been pushed aside for Dana more times than I could count. This was just the loudest version of something I'd lived for years. So I packed my life into one duffel bag, battered, like me, and locked the door behind me. Not one word of thanks. Not one look back. But inside, something cracked open. A fire I'd been smothering for too long started to burn. They had no idea. The late nights building code. The secret investor calls. The side hustle I grew in silence that's now worth millions. To them, I was still just the dependable, invisible older brother. But this eviction? It wasn't the end. It was the opportunity one hadn't dared to take. I wasn't walking away defeated. I was walking away reborn. They pushed me out like I didn't matter. But soon, they'd know exactly who I became without them. I left without raising my voice, slamming a door, or saying goodbye. Just my duffel over my shoulder and one last walk down the cracked driveway I used to shovel every winter as a kid. That house, my house once, measured me only by what I could give up. To them, I looked like I'd given up again. Let them think that. What they didn't know. I used my final paycheck to secure a penthouse condo under a shell company. Within a week, I had a financial advisor on retainer, 3 new business accounts, and full ownership of a rising tech firm, all under an alias they'd never connect to me. I didn't block them. Didn't reach out either. I let the silence stretch. Back home, Dana's kids turned the place upside down. Bills slipped through the cracks. Groceries ran low. The same mother who told me to leave started calling distant relatives about how tight things had gotten. Dana, always loud, now louder, complaining about prices, about stress, about everything. But they never called me. Not once. I watched everything: public records, mutual friends, those polished Facebook posts laced with desperation. Every crack they tried to patch without me only made their house weaker. And I watched it all like a patient surgeon. Every day I stayed quiet, my value grew. They thought they'd erased me. What they didn't know was that I'd already started rewriting the story. This time, my name's on the cover. Theirs? Just footnotes. They buried me in years of silence and obligation and dismissal. Now I'm digging it up. Quietly. One profitable silence at a time. Months passed. The house I once called home? It started collapsing from the inside out. Leaking pipes, a sagging roof, Dana's kids breaking what little furniture remained. The same woman who kicked me out now wandered the halls like a tenant waiting for a notice. Bills stacked like insults. Credit cards bounced. Pride wore down, flaking like old paint. Then came the GoFundMe. Dana posted a picture of the house back when it still held dignity. Please help us save our family home. Anything helps. The caption read, sentimental bait for strangers. I stared at the screen for a full minute, silent, calm. Then I picked up the phone. I called the landline. My mother answered, her voice hesitant, syrupy with forced warmth. Jordan, it's so good to hear your voice, sweetheart. I saw the fundraiser, I said flatly. I'd like to make an offer. Her voice perked up, too quickly. Really? Oh, honey, not a donation. I want to buy the house. Cash. Market value. Silence. I'll have my attorney send over the paperwork. You'll have 60 days to vacate. Dana called minutes later, voice cutting like broken glass. Who the hell do you think you are? I didn't raise my voice. The man you forced out, coming back with the deed. They didn't recognize me. The suit, the calm, the voice that didn't tremble anymore. I wasn't angry. I was surgical, detached. No family talk, no tears, just clean, legal terms. When my mother stammered, "We raised you," I gave her the final clause. "No, you tolerated me. You spent years stepping over me. Now, you'll pay to stay." Because that's what tenants do. The notice went out exactly as I planned. Folded, sterile, and cold. No emotion, just law. I didn't even have to send it myself. Dana opened it first, thinking it was another overdue bill. Her scream echoed through the same kitchen where they told me to get out. Fitting. I pictured my mother reading the line that stripped away their illusion of control. This property is scheduled for major renovations. All current occupants must vacate within 30 days. Panic, then rage. She called me. Her voice cracked, pleading. "Baby, please, you can't do this." I didn't flinch. "You told me to leave." I just followed through. Dana tried the legal route next, ranting into my voicemail about family and rights. She had no idea I'd anticipated every move. The house was mine, purchased through a holding company. Clean transaction. Paid in full. Their names weren't anywhere near the paperwork. Within days, the transformation began. Contractors came by. The locks were changed. Cameras blinked silently from the porch corners. A brand new security system hummed beneath the drywall. I wasn't kicking them out. I was erasing their grip on a life they took for granted. I returned once. I stepped out of my matte black car in a charcoal overcoat, measured, unshaken. I met them in the driveway, the same spot I once shoveled snow just to earn a thankless meal. Now I stood at the top. My mother looked older. Dana looked like she wanted to scream. I handed her a folder, itemized bills, receipts, rent stubs. "This is what I gave," I said. "You told me to leave, so I did. And I built something of my own. Now it's your turn." They said nothing. I turned, and the locks clicked behind me like punctuation on a sentence they never thought I'd finish. The renovations finished in spring. I walked through the house alone, footsteps soft against polished hardwood where threadbare carpet used to curl. White walls, new fixtures, silence that didn't sting anymore. Every room told a different story now. Except one. I left the upstairs room untouched. My old bedroom. Same faded posters. Same scuff marks on the doorframe where I used to stretch my arms high, hoping I'd grow tall enough to finally be noticed. I didn't fix it. I preserved it. Not to dwell on the pain, but to honor what that pain built. I never moved back in. Instead, I rented it out. A young couple with big plans. A single mom putting herself through law school. People who reminded me, quiet strivers, walking tightropes. I gave them something I was never given in that house. Room to breathe, grow, and dream. As for my mother and Dana, they were renters now, paying strangers for shelter in a housing market they once told me I'd never survive. I watched the eviction notices arrive. I let the apology emails rot in my inbox. I let the birthday texts, generic and late, expire without response. Then, late one night, I saw Dana's GoFundMe tick up by $5,000. The donation was under her own name, but I wrote the note. Don't forget who helped you, even if it wasn't family. I sat by the window in my condo, coffee warm in hand, the city humming below. No need for speeches. No need to gloat. Just peace, earned, not gifted. They taught me absence. I taught them consequence. And upstairs, in that untouched room, morning light slid across a time capsule, where a boy once tried to matter. Now he did, without ever needing them to admit it. Sometimes, the people who push us away don't realize they're planting the seeds of our greatest strength. Jordan's story is a reminder, what's taken from you can become the foundation of everything you build. When they doubt you, let your success be the answer they never saw coming. If you found Jordan's journey powerful, like and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of resilience, revenge, and rising above. What would you do if you were in Jordan's shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every one. See you in the next story.